If a nuclear missile were launched today, one of the first places to detect it would not be Washington or New York. It would not be a city at all. It would be a frozen landmass thousands of miles north, deep inside the Arctic Circle. That place is Greenland. Greenland is often imagined as empty ice and remote wilderness. In geopolitical reality, it is one of the most watched locations on the planet. This documentary reveals Greenland's hidden role in America's missile defense system, a role shaped by Cold War fear, modern technology, and rising global tensions. To understand why Greenland matters, we must begin with how nuclear war would actually unfold. Intercontinental ballistic missiles do not follow borders. They follow physics. The Earth's curvature forces missiles onto polar trajectories. The shortest route between nuclear rivals runs directly over the Arctic. This makes the Arctic the most dangerous airspace on Earth. During the early Cold War, American strategists understood this reality with urgency. They knew survival depended on seeing first. Early detection meant the difference between response and annihilation. Radar stations in the continental United States were not enough. They were too far south. The warning window was dangerously short. The solution was to move detection north, far north. Greenland offered an advantage no other territory could match. It sat directly beneath the Arctic Missile Corridor. It allowed radar to see over the polar horizon. In 1951, the United States established Thule Air Base in northwest Greenland. Denmark approved the base as part of NATO's collective defense. The decision would permanently alter Greenland's role in global security. Thule Air Base was built in extreme conditions. Temperatures dropped below -40 degrees Celsius. Construction crews worked in near-total isolation. Speed mattered more than comfort. The mission was clear: detect Soviet bombers and missiles before they reached North America. As nuclear weapons evolved, so did Thule's importance. By the 1960s, ballistic missiles replaced bombers as the primary threat. This required a new kind of detection. Thule became part of the Ballistic Missile Early Warning System, known as BMEWS. Massive radar arrays were installed to scan the Arctic sky continuously. These radars could detect missile launches seconds after liftoff. Data from Thule was transmitted directly to NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. From there, information flowed to U.S. political and military leadership. Thule effectively became America's northern eyes. During the Cold War, this system was tested repeatedly. False alarms occurred. Misinterpretations nearly triggered disaster. Each incident reinforced one lesson: early warning systems had to be reliable. Thule remained operational around the clock. Its crews lived with constant pressure. Any signal could be real. When the Soviet Union collapsed, many believed the danger had passed. It had not. Nuclear weapons did not disappear. They multiplied in complexity. Russia inherited the world's largest nuclear arsenal. Under Vladimir Putin, Russia began modernizing its missile forces. New intercontinental missiles were developed. Launch patterns remained Arctic-focused. This preserved Greenland's strategic relevance. China soon followed a similar path. Under Xi Jinping, China expanded its nuclear deterrent. Missile ranges increased. Chinese missile trajectories also began to include polar routes. The Arctic was no longer a Cold War relic. It became a modern strategic theater. Thule Air Base adapted to this new reality. Its mission expanded beyond radar detection. It became integrated into America's missile defense system. Radar data from Greenland now supports interception planning. Missile defense depends on prediction. Prediction depends on early data. Thule provides that data. In 2023, Thule Air Base was officially renamed Pituffik Space Base. The renaming signaled a major shift. The base was now part of the United States Space Force. Space and missile defense had merged. Pituffik tracks not only missiles, but objects in orbit: satellites, space debris, orbital launches. Control of space begins with awareness. Greenland provides that awareness over the Arctic. This makes Pituffik irreplaceable. No satellite network alone can replace ground-based Arctic radar. This vulnerability is well understood by rival powers. Russia has declared the Arctic a core national interest. Under Putin, Russia reopened Soviet-era Arctic bases. Airfields, radar stations, and missile sites were reactivated. Russia deployed air defense systems along its northern coast. These deployments were not symbolic. They were strategic. China pursued a different approach. China declared itself a near-Arctic state. Chinese companies sought infrastructure projects in Greenland, airports, mining operations, research facilities. Several proposals were blocked by Denmark and the United States. Intelligence agencies warned of dual-use risks. Infrastructure could support civilian needs. It could also support military logistics. Control of access creates influence. Greenland's government found itself under growing pressure. Economic development clashed with security concerns. The United States responded by increasing diplomatic engagement. Greenland's strategic value was no longer hidden. Climate change accelerated these dynamics. Ice retreat expanded Arctic access. Supply routes became more viable. Military operations became easier to sustain. At the same time, new weapons emerged. Hypersonic missiles changed the equation. They fly lower than traditional ballistic missiles. They maneuver unpredictably. Detection windows shrink dramatically. Early warning becomes even more critical. Greenland sits closest to the problem. Pituffik provides forward detection. It buys time. Time is the most valuable resource in missile defense. Losing Greenland would create blind spots. Blind spots create instability. Instability increases the risk of miscalculation. This is why Greenland's security is tied to NATO strategy. It anchors the alliance's northern defense, yet its role remains largely invisible to the public. No headlines announce successful detections. Silence is the goal. When systems work, nothing happens. That silence is deceptive. Behind it lies constant surveillance, continuous readiness, unbroken attention. Greenland is not passive territory. It is an active sensor platform, a warning node, a strategic asset. The future will only increase this importance. Missile technology will continue to evolve. Detection will become harder. Geography will matter more. Greenland cannot be moved. Its position is fixed. That makes it powerful. In geopolitics, fixed advantages are rare. Greenland is one of them. It stands between warning and surprise, between stability and chaos, between reaction and regret. As long as nuclear weapons exist, early warning will decide outcomes. As long as early warning matters, Greenland will remain central. The Arctic is no longer the edge of the world. It is the front line, and Greenland stands directly in its path, watching, listening, detecting, long before the rest of the world ever realizes what is happening.